So instead of off-screen rambling about these commentation battles, we're going to be going over the Swarm Encounters. Route 17's Swarm Encounter is Pineco. This is one of the two original Bug Steel types, and oh boy, it's still just as solid defensively as it was back then. It might be a little worse now because of the physical special split, meaning its lower, more vulnerable special defense is now much more easily preyed upon, but this is also before the nerf to Steel type that made it take neutral damage from Dark and Ghost moves, so it still is extremely solid defensively, and it might not have the best offensive moves, but it can still bulk things out pretty well. That's Route 16. On Route 5, you have Smeargle. Oh boy, this is a Pokemon that is very interesting competitively. When it comes to actually non-competitive play, it's laughable. Smeargle's stats are garbage. And even that's saying it nicely. Its abilities are terrible, especially considering it has absolutely no attack stat to actually take advantage of any of those moves it might use. Smeargle's only move naturally is Sketch. What does Sketch do? It lets you copy an opposing Pokemon's move. So the only way to have Smeargle be useful is have it copy another Pokemon's move, then use it back. This takes a long time to get the right move, and I've actually known people who have used competitive Smeargle, and it's taken a number of soft resets just to get the right move, because unless you're fighting another person, it's pretty RNG related. It's only really helpful in double battles where you can tack on a bunch of random moves, such as Dark Void, or, well, Dark Void's actually no longer usable on it because they changed that move, and then nerfed it into the ground by not only making it only usable by Darkrai, but also making it 50 accuracy instead of 80, so thereby killing any strategy with the move. Just making it so only Darkrai could use it was more than enough, guys. Why'd you have to make it so even Darkrai can't use this thing anymore? But yeah, Smeargle, in the modern day, it has a couple of tech it can do, but it's mostly useful for giving it a bunch of stat boosting moves and then baton passing those stat boosting moves onto an actual teammate. It's pretty much dead weight otherwise, and I would not recommend using it to my worst enemies. But that's really all we have in these two routes to the side. I'm not going to go over any of the other Pokemon because I do at least want to show some action-y stuff going on right now, and no boy, Lilligant and Squintle. These two are actually very annoying. I did forget that had to have been a crit. Yeah, there was no way that would have been a normal move, because I know Darunia's glass, but it is not that glass. But at least took a hit pretty well. Lilligant fainted, and Darunia gained experience. They didn't double focus Darunia right there. Sub-Zero and Ice Beam. I don't think this is actually going to KO because actually it might. But of course not. Your face Whimsicott's face just looks hilarious when it's in slow motion. Like, it looks like it's in pain, which I guess a giant piece of cotton fluff getting frozen would be painful, but like, its mouth looks weird. Its mouth looks very weird. Like, it looks like it's in anguish or something like that. Or just it looks sad. And, oh, we actually used Hurricane and it missed. Nice, at least Hurricane missed once. He's got fainted. Yeah, I forgot that it got Hurricane. It gets a couple of flying moves, but, you know, it's cotton fluff. Kind of makes sense. I think it's one of the only non-flying grass types to actually get access to Hurricane, which is something. Actually, no, there's a couple of other grass types to get Hurricane, but I don't know. It's an interesting Pokemon. World of Championships are coming soon. Razor Valley, nope. But yeah, there's a couple of things you can do around Nimbasa City. I like the changes, but this is pretty much the only spike of interesting things among the already traveled Unnovan routes. There's not a whole lot on other routes that is extremely useful because a lot of the Pokemon are just swarm encounters of early generation Pokemon which really just don't hold up, or fishing encounters of Pokemon which again don't really hold up. there's really no new items to go grab aside from the TMs from the Sages, which we are going to be running into another one very soon, actually. It's actually our next stop is to where the Sages and WoW experience quick. So this is what I mean. You pair up the Lucky Egg with just these very over-leveled Pokemon, you can grow levels like nuts. And I love it. Oh, finally, we're faster than a Lilligant. Because Lilligant is... I think Lilligant's decently fast. It's not horribly slow, but it's not super speedy, if I recall. It's really Quiver Dance that makes it get a little more zippy. I kind of would have liked to use a Lilligant on the team, but I just decided against it because I already was doing a pretty glass cannon team as is, and I'm also not one for setup, and if I was going to go for setup, I wouldn't really be switching on the team. I would just have Lilligant front-loaded, Quiver Dance once or twice at the start of the game, and just not even switch Lilligant out, because it's just that destructive. Which would kind of make the rest of the team a bit obsolete. It wouldn't be a team, it's just like, okay, you counter Lilligant. I mean, it's fun, but also I don't really like it. Ah, Flareon. You know, there's something about Flareon I've always said, and it is this. Whenever you have a Garchomp level attack stat, and you still suck, you know the Pokemon's terrible. But this thing has 130 base physical attack. That's what Garchomp's attack. There are Pokemon that have had lower than that as their main offensive stat, and have been better. Like, that's just how bad, like, it's slow. It has really... Oh, Max Repel. Okay, that's good to know. Like, it's slow. It has really high special defense, but it just has no HP, and its physical defense is completely garbage. It's just... Whenever I say Gen 1 Pokemon have garbage stat distributions, especially compared to Pokemon nowadays, which were made with actual stat distributions in mind, like, I point to things like Flareon, they're just it's so bad. Like, I'm pretty sure every single Generation 1 Pokemon... Well, screw you. It looked at me! It looked at me when I said that! You know what, let's just go for Fire Punch. Let's just burn it down. Why? Why you're faster than me? That move is pathetic. But that's kind of what I mean when I said like every Generation 1 Pokemon has just a bad stat distribution somewhere. You look at pretty much every Gen 1 Pokemon. All of them have at the very least one absolutely crippling stat. It's either they have really, really good attack, HP, defense, but that their speed or whatever is just terrible, but I don't know. Like everything that has wow. Jelly took that well. And we're not going to take this well. Yeah, I had no illusions about surviving that. Jellicent's not much of an attacker, but it can do damage. Especially the move is savagely powerful as Hydro Pump. But of course, it never works when you use it. And speaking of Hydro Pump, I've actually been thinking about giving Tyranza Thunder. Because of Compound Eyes, we have a 97, I believe is what it is, or no, it's 91% accurate. Thunders. Which, that is insane. Because I actually did the math, or rather I just looked up a table, with regards to how fast Tyranza would have to be for Electro Ball to really be worth it. And that is, unless we are, at minimum, 3 times as fast as the Pokemon we are fighting, Thunderbolt is just your better option for moves. And we're not really facing that many Pokemon that are slow, and the amount of time it would take to just set up the Electro Webs to get those Pokemon to be that slow would just not even be worth it, so I decided to go with Thunderbolt off screen. I might be thinking about going for Thunder. I don't know where the item is that gives increased accuracy. I think it's not the Scope Lens. Scope Lens is crit ratio. I think it's the Wide Lens is what it is. If we can find the Wide Lens, like I know there's the Wide Lens and the Zoom Lens. I think Zoom Lens is where if you move after the opponent, it's a 20% accuracy boost, whereas the Wide Lens is just a flat 10% boost. I have been thinking, if you can find those just naturally in the overworld somewhere, giving that to Tyranza and trying to get perfectly accurate, or at the very least like 98% accurate thunders just to spam, because that's nuclear damage right there. Now, I've already gone over Route 5, so you might be wondering why I'm actually going onto it. Well, there's a certain someone there who I think we would very much be in the interest of going to talk to. His name is... no, it's Cheren. Strength and strength alone is what matters in this world. So I believed until I met Alder here. But winning in Pokemon battles isn't all there is to life. I mean, for some people it is, but for others, you're right. Once I learned that lesson, my eyes were open to many different things. We all have our own brand of strength, people and Pokemon both. The strength to make our dreams a reality, the strength to protect what we hold most dear. Why do I think this way? Is that thanks to you? It's thanks to you, Maxis, and Bianca, and Alder. If only I could see this too, someday. I'm going to take a long, hard look at myself in Victory Road. I'm going to think about what to do and who I can become. Visit me sometimes if you want. We'll have a battle like old times. And so, Cheren will be at the top of Victory Road every day for a rematch. Much like Big Stadium and Small Court, he is mid-level 60s. I believe he is 65 across the board, and he has a full team of 6. He is excellent experience grinding fodder. If between the Royal Unova, the Big Stadium and Small Court daily battles, and Cheren, you're still underleveled, what the heck are you doing wrong? Like, I'm actually serious with that comment, because this has just been, like 3 days of me, actually no, yes, it's been 3 days of me in post-game, and most, if not, like, most of my team is already at or near level 63 across the board, which is generally my baseline for this point in the game. Or at least what I've looked forward and said, okay, baseline, I want everyone to be level 63, just because that's not super over-leveled across the board, but also not under-leveled. So, again, if you go straight for, and even that's with, not going all the way to fight Cheren, because if you have Cheren, the Royal Unova, and that all 3 times a day, 3 times each day, you're going to probably be at level 63 across the board, regardless. But I will meet you guys at our next location, because there are some things to go over there. And here we are on the other side of the Charged Stone Cave. There's nothing for us on... Actually, wait. Oh, wait. Route 6. I forgot to go over Route 6. Crap. Wait. Oh, wait. There's stuff in Driftveil City I forgot to go over. Crap. Oh, boy. I made a mistake. Driftveil City. Nope. Rewind. Go back. Mistakes have been made. Route 6's swarm encounters are, for those of you playing, I actually don't write that, but Plusle. This is mediocre. Plus is very helpful only when next to Pokemon with plus or minus. It's helpful in double or triple battles, of which there's almost none. Mediocre speed, at the very least for Electric-type standards, mediocre special attack to go with that speed. This thing's not good. And also just terrible bulk. Minun is the slightly bulkier of the two, but again, it's just not good. Not good at all. They get Helping Hand, which only will help alongside Pokemon with plus or minus, so I guess maybe if you got a Clank, maybe, but not that great. But in Driftveil City, we actually do have a couple of things to go over, things of which you actually might want, because they're actually quite good, and we get to listen to the Driftveil music, because this music is amazing. This Plasma Grunt. I used to be part of Team Plasma. I have various kinds of incense. Welcome, how may I help you? He sells incense. These generally will boost the type of damage, however, they are also helpful in breeding. There are certain baby Pokemon that can only be gotten through these items. The Luck Incense is just a clone of the Amulet Coin. It does not stack with it, unfortunately, which really makes me sad. Wax Incense is an interesting item. It basically works with the Bright Powder in that it will decrease the accuracy of the opposing Pokemon. I really like this idea. The unfortunate part is just it never seems to work and also is banned competitively. And there is this one. This decreases your own speed. It's helpful if you are using moves such as Trick Room and Gyro Ball, but there's just better moves like that, say like the, what is it, like the Iron Ball, which you can actually fling for decent damage. But it's actually a really good selection of things. If you're going to be breeding Pokemon, you definitely will, actually, I don't even think you need those for breeding. You're generally only using those for completing the Pokedex. There's also another house I forgot to mention, and I don't really consider forgetting to mention, because this is the combo move. These are the pledge moves. These are very interesting moves that have effects in double battles. These can only be learned by your starters, and I believe the monkeys. Depending on which combination of moves are used, fire and water will create a rainbow. This will make it so your secondary effects have a double chance of happening. This does not, however, stack with Serene Grace, which makes me sad because it means you can't have a 120% chance of having this happen. So sad, but hey, them's the breaks. It only lasts 4 turns like the other effects, but doubling the chance of certain side effects happening is actually somewhat helpful, especially, I don't know if it affects things like Leaf Blade. But, again, double effects, especially on fire types, can be helpful for getting off increased burn chances. Water types, some of them have secondary effects on them. Moves like Scald don't always burn, but double chance, more possible chances. They're actually pretty good. It lasts for 4 turns, so it's kind of balanced. The grass and water one will bog them down in the opposing side of the field in a marsh. This will drop their speed. The last one, grass and fire, causes a wildfire to appear on the opposing side of the field, and it will deal damage to the opposing Pokemon. I don't know how much damage it actually deals. It's some percentage. We'll probably be putting it on screen how much it does. But they're actually fairly useful, and they all last for 4 turns, so they're not too broken, but there's something. The reason I didn't go over them is, first off, double battles just don't exist in Unova. And second, the moves, you might think, oh, well, I guess you could just use it as a secondary special attack this early in the game, or, I mean, we're only midway through the game. These moves have 50 base power. They got 80 base power later, but right now, they're just kind of pathetic. Which is kind of sad, because they're really interesting ideas, and in double and even triple battles, they can be amazing. For the next leg of our journey, you're going to want to head into the cold storage. Actually, no, we don't even need repels because the cold storage doesn't have anything. So, we'll just retrace our steps that we first made when coming through the cold storage. And of course, all these guys are still in here because it's their job in life to just be cold. Can you be cool? I don't know, I can't really think of many other Batman and Robin ice puns. But, we head over here, and there's another one of the 7 Sages. What do you have to say? Zizulin. So, you return. You're an odd trainer. Alright, I got enough time to satisfy your curiosity. Breathing. Having a heart that beats. This is the simple existence, and nothing more of a living being. That's the definition of living, but I don't think that defines life. The experience of joy and suffering are vital to part of being alive. Getsus gave me the sensation of being truly alive. What did he mean to accomplish? That isn't what's important. Right now, I'm shivering. I am shivering, but I'm alive. People and Pokemon live by being together and relying on one another. That might be how you feel. If that's so, is it necessary to separate people from Pokemon? By talking to you, I've discovered there is much I need to think about. I wish I had more to give you in thanks, but here, take this. TMO1 Hone Claws. Not that great, but it's definitely something helpful. Is that what am I like when I pace it back and forth and talk to people? Because that's kind of annoying. My Lord N said he wanted to make Pokemon perfect, but if the relationship between Pokemon and people stayed how it is, Pokemon can aspire to perfection. And that sound signals Looker. Indeed, I am also of the International Police, and I demand to hear all that you know about Team Plasma. It's too cold, and I'm already tired of shivering in here. If you give me some time to think, I'll tell you what you know. I'll tell you what I know. So, take me with you. Thanks, me time is over. Gets notwithstanding, there remain 2 members of the 7 Sages still at large. The thoughts they completing, the hopes are they anticipating. These are what I want to know. Until our next meeting. And, as Looker said, there are 2 more of the 7 Sages remaining. It's not much, but I don't know. I kind of like how if you come back here, I believe he is the 7 Sage that is in here when you first encounter, so it's kind of a little continuity thing right there. But with all that over, there's actually nothing else left in Driftvale City or Route 6 for us to go over, so I will meet you guys at Mistralton City and go over the swarm encounter over there.